Playbook's here. So, with the beta over, and maybe there's a way back into it, I don't know, but with the beta over for most of us, I want to go through my thoughts on it, right? I know you didn't ask. Let's get a who asked in the comments, please. But I want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. Actually, I'm just going to skip the good, right? We've talked enough about the good of 23 beta. You're here for, like, what's it? Like, what is the one thing that's going to be, I guess, the fundamental problem with Madden 23? Is Madden 23 going to be a successful gameplay product? This will determine it. We'll go through that when we get through it. But, there's so much that goes into Madden, between Madden Ultimate Team and how that functions. Franchise looks basically the same. There's some cool stuff with motivation that they added, maybe some more things that I didn't see that's still to come. We still need some information on a few of these things, of course, right? But I want to talk about gameplay right away because, all these things that are built on that, they can be successful, right? Like, I could play franchise so my eyes fall out if it's good. That's why I love Out of the Park Baseball for the franchise mode. I could play Ultimate Team Game mode until my eyes fall out. Just rolling training and stuff like I've done in 22 because I hate the gameplay in 22 right now. It's just absolutely disgusting. But let's talk about the gameplay. So it's not necessarily like, something that's Madden been great with in the past, but let's hopefully what we've seen in Madden 23, hopefully they'll continue to build on that, right? Because maybe I shouldn't ramble so much at the start, but you're going to get it. Because, like, a lot of people have loved Madden 23's beta, much more than I've seen in previous years. This community is probably the most positive I've seen since 16. And back then, it's just because we weren't, like, worn out by Madden's BS for so many years. So 23 is looking on the up and up, okay? I really like they're making next-gen games, right? Obviously, I think PC will be screwed and left in last gen. Last gen, you're basically going to get another game exactly like Madden 21 in 23. So next-gen experience is going to be wildly different than that stuff, and that's what we're talking about because that's what the beta was on. So this isn't necessarily in order of things I want. I'm going to talk about, like, the big things when I get there, but these kind of notes I made as I was playing the beta, and I'll kind of go over what I was thinking. So, like, first of all, linebackers still don't jump, they don't follow the guards on counters, right? They just run straight. Linebackers, the pursuit isn't great. Like, the pursuit stat really means nothing. I have no clue the difference between, like, a 50 pursuit and 99 pursuit. Like, some of these things, play action, awareness, they don't show up enough in the gameplay, and that's been frustrating. Ever since, like, Madden 15 had incredible play rec, right? Play rec actually meant something. DTs went somewhere on screens. That was the difference between them covering the screen, them not covering the screen. Play rec really meant something for, like, play action, for run versus pass. Jack Ham with his huge play rec was so incredible, like, always in on the play. So I don't like what they've done to play rec. That stat, pursuit hasn't really mattered for a few years. It's crazy that, like, they say, like, old games play better. In some aspects they did, play rec being one of them. So a lot of that stuff's still an issue against the run. Linebackers don't follow the guard. Like, that's just, like, middle school stuff, right? You follow the guards on counters. You watch the guards to read the play a lot of times. It was so funny because, like, I think I had a dream the other day where a linebacker jumped. And I think I was just dreaming about the beta. I don't think that actually happened in the beta, but I'm not 100% sure. But they will still jump on a blitz. So, like, the most bailout thing on defense is when you, like, send 6 or 7. And then, like, I get it, it's realistic for guys to jump, but, like, if they can't jump on the field when I'm using them, why are they jumping on the blitz? It makes no sense to me, okay? So don't allow them to jump on the blitz or allow them to jump on the field. One or the other. Pick a side. Don't sit on the fence, EA. All right, there are 2 huge issues, and I tweeted about them. One, playbooks. They're god-awful. The playbooks are probably the worst playbooks I've ever seen in Madden. Fire the playbook guy, please. Seriously. Cut him off. Send him into early retirement. I don't care. Like, give him a long vacation in Cancun. Tell him never to come back. Don't care what you do with him. Get rid of him. He's trash. Playbooks are trash. Figure out a solution if you're not going to fire him. Like, I suggested on Twitter, hey, maybe, like, those alternate playbooks, because I know they're, like, always talk about, oh, these teams ran this play during the game, but seriously, that's not true. You can go through any game and see a play that the team ran that isn't in Madden. But, like, why aren't there, like, MUT-specific books? Or, like, make something better for MUT. You got live playbooks, regular playbooks. Do something for MUT, please. Make these playbooks actually usable in online gameplay. Not just MUT, but actual online regs, too. Make these playbooks usable. It's so bad. It's another Trips tight end gun bunch year unless you fix something. Unless something changes between beta and launch, it's going to be that meta. Oh, well, maybe with some normal Y off. I don't know. But it's going to be very stale because there's very little good things in the playbooks. Let's talk about next on deep thirds. This is not necessarily a make or break thing. I think deep thirds are insane, but, like, it's okay to a certain extent in some situations. They sit a little long and you run past in a straight streak sometimes. If the receiver's fast enough, sometimes they transition their hips and get back. But I was never able to get a completion over top of them. So that might just be something that maybe I'm wrong about, because even though my receiver looked open, the guy was able to come back and make a play and break up the catch. So I don't know. It's a little kind of iffy right now. But overall, zone's been pretty good in the beta. I overall liked zones, except for when they're back turn and they can like psychically react to the ball. That's the worst part about zones is psychic zones. I do think along that same line, pass interference is a little wonky at times still. Sometimes you can just run into receiver for like 15 yards, take him off his route, nothing's called. And another time you go for an interception, and then like the other team goes up for a catch, and then you get a random pass interference because they ran into you. And so it's still a little wonky on that. I think field momentum still is stupid. I think that's one of the dumbest things they've brought to Madden in years. I hate field momentum. So please take that out of online play. Throw that back to NCAA, please. Click-ons are still a little inconsistent. I don't feel like they're terrible. FIFA's click-ons are terrible. Madden's click-ons are just inconsistent and maybe could be a little bit better. This next point is literally the biggest thing that's going to cause Madden gameplay to be good or bad. Offensive linemen, okay? Like, the disengages, like the offensive linemen, basically, okay, so there's a few things that happen, right? If you know and looked at any offensive lineman IRL, what happens? So like, okay, say there's like a couple guys blitzing and like one's looping or something, they'll like start passing off to each other to like pick up different blitzers and stuff. In Madden, there's this disengage logic, right? There are sheds and disengages. Sheds is where the defensive lineman beats the lineman, okay? The offensive lineman, all right? Those are okay. Sheds are fine. That's just like the game working as intended. Disengages is basically they pass them off to nobody, and then they just get a free run at your quarterback. And like, you're like, oh, what if you overload blitz? I'm not talking about overloads. I'm just talking about dumb, like 4-on-5, disengage blitz, and then just let him go a free run at the quarterback. And that's terrible. Those disengages are bad, right? They shouldn't be passing it off to nobody. They should be better. They're professionals, okay? So that's one thing. And if like you're like, oh, that inconsistently happens in the NFL, sure. But like you can consistently get it to trigger in Madden because that's the way the game plays. Like one of the biggest thing is just like edge blitzes, right? Blitz a DB in like $1. 3-2-6, whatever it is, or a 2-4-5, whatever it is, they'll just get around the edge. And like they'll be like, all right, the guard, like because of where like defensive linemen stand up outside the tackle shoulder, and then the CB blitzes off the edge, like Trent Williams won't even be able to pick up that CB, right? Trent Williams ain't no bitch. He'll be able to get out there and pick up a CB on a blitz. So the fact that like the guard and the tackle don't kick out enough to pick it up, or like the tackle will take the defensive end and the guard will try to get the CB, but like the guard will run into the tackle like an idiot and he won't be able to get there. The running back will completely like whiff it, and then he'll try and like do like a crab shuffle towards the corner and completely miss it too. Very frustrating. And I think that is 100% going to be the reason we say this game sucks, right? Like Madden should try to eliminate the this game sucks out of the game. And corner blitzes is a this game sucks. There's some loop blitzes stuff. This game sucks. I should be able to block a running back 6 against 5, and I should be able to pick up some of like whatever loop they send at me because the running back's right there to look at it and pick it up, okay? Offensive linemen know how to shift back so far, you know, and that's how the game should play. Unless you overload me, which is okay. I'm fine with overload blitzes getting through. There should be some sort of counterplay to some of this stuff without having to like, you know, shift line right, identify left, but that's picking up like a loop blitz to the center, then they send off the edge. That get like, I don't know. It's some weird wonky stuff that sometimes you have to do, and I truly understand why sometimes you have to do that, and it makes sense, but overall it's very frustrating. Like, or on the run where like, say your tight end shoots out and there's like an outside linebacker in front of him or a middle linebacker that you can just like go and collide with, but he's like pre-targeting, like, and like his target missed the linebacker and just like leads up to safety and the linebacker, which the running back looks at like, oh, the tight end should try and get the linebacker, but the tight end just like, you know, dazes out and goes for the safety and get tackled by the linebacker. It's very frustrating. It's the reason why we say this game sucks. Okay, so please get rid of the this game sucks stuff with the line. Make them better and smarter. Okay, next one. Zones are still a little wonky near the sideline and end zone. Sometimes zones don't get out to the sidelines quick enough. They shuffle out there really slowly instead of turning and sprinting out there because they get beat to the sidelines. It's very frustrating. The end zone still, one thing that's really good in the end zone specifically that was really nice from last year. I'll put it right here. Post. So like trip tight end, post, corner. The post, because it's moving in, like the third will squeeze in with them, and the corner will get wide open underneath them. Very, very frustrating. So it's still going to be one of the things you'll see online, the post corner from trips. Now, obviously, if it's like a post clear out stuff with a lot of room. That's one thing that's perfectly fine to flood cover 3. That makes tons of sense. But like it's really wonky that the post doesn't like hand it off to the center defender and like you're sitting more towards like your actual zone. All right. Although post corners, I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's like it's hard to explain it. You're like, oh, it makes sense why a post corner would get open. It's hard to explain it and tell you why. I wish I could show you the beta. I could show you like a Madden 22 clip of it, but let's just move on. You should get what I'm saying right there. If you play Madden 22 at any length, I'm sure you run into someone who trips tight end and run that post corner against you. If not, consider yourself lucky. I think the leverage guy against wide runs doesn't do a great job. He gets hooked by tight ends a little bit too much. Like, Khalil Mack should not be being hooked by, I don't know, Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis may be a bad example. I don't know, some poor run blocking tight end or something like that. So, I don't know. It's all right. All right. One thing that they added that I don't know if we talked about this a lot, the passing slowdown. So basically, if you turn it on, and it's only available offline, obviously, not online, but like if you turn it on, it's kind of cool. It's like Matrix style. It slows down the game. You can really put your reticle with the new passing system where you want it. I don't know. I thought it's kind of neat. I like that Max Payne stuff for offline play, right? Like ball carrier moves, maybe. Maybe you can put like some sort of mini game in, like pass breakups. You can move like in like each of your joysticks is one of your arms. You gotta like wacky wily inflatable man move it in the right place to knock it out. I don't know. I thought like they could do more fun things like that, like camera zoom in to get that kind of like knockdown situation. You could do maybe defensive line, do the same thing where you got to like chop the offensive line's hands and like club past them, or maybe a swim move. Maybe you could like put a button into spin too. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool addition. I like the Max Payne slowdown, or Matrix, I guess is a better way of saying, more famous slowdown mechanic that we've seen. I think a huge issue with the game right now though is dudes still swat instead of catch on easy interceptions. Like if someone makes a bad read, punish them, right? Punish them, right? We don't want games being easy. Look how popular Elden Ring is for being a hard game. Don't make Madden some casual bitch fest, okay? Where we're all just bitching at the game because of how bad it is and how lucky our opponent's getting. If they make a bad read, if they do an oopsie, punch them in the throat, all right? Or else I'm gonna punch my freaking monitor, and I don't want to break my hand. Please punish people for being stupid. That's what America was built on, all right? If you give your money to somebody randomly over the internet that says they can double it, you should get punished because that's how the real world works. Next up, okay, this could make a terrible meta. Now, I think a lot of the issue with Madden 23, outside of these things that I'm talking about, the what we see from Playbook. This is why playbooks are so important, because if they stay where they're at, the meta's not changing. It's going to be the same fundamental, stupid bunch, trips, that kind of stuff. Maybe another formation breaks out. But we're going to see it every game, right? Because there's no variety there in any of the playbooks. And so, same thing with man press. Man press is the most brain-dead defense possible. Set it, forget it, use somebody maybe over the middle and let your 3-man rush come home. Or maybe you blitz them, right? It's just man press because it takes so long, because it's so good. It just eliminates so much of the thinking part of the game, trying to like beat zones, adjusting zones, finally read, that kind of stuff. And basically, all right, now I got a motion slant, I got a post or a cross, or like basically I'm just waiting for them to get open, and that's the entire game. Man press is so brain dead on defense, it's crazy. And I think that man press should be nerfed, right? Because like you'll see it when you play the game. I had guys pressed for literally 15 yards. And I'm talking about Mike Evans, okay? Mike Evans should not be man pressed that crazy by like Hootie and the fuckfish out there, okay? Like I shouldn't be able like just a random dude out there just destroying me. And especially somebody of Mike Evans' talent. So, man press cannot be that crazy, in my opinion. Some people really love man press. They'll hate me for that. But remember bench press meta? That was the worst time in Madden 21. All right. This one's a pretty big issue, I feel like. Fumbles on tackle battles. Tackle battles are kind of cool. I don't mind tackle battles at all. I don't like the mini game, but whatever, dude. It's back in the game. We'll adjust. I guess I shouldn't have said they're kind of cool. I think they're kind of stupid, but like they're kind of whatever. but the fumbles make them really stupid. Okay? So tackle battles, I don't think is a plus or a minus. Those are fine being in the game, but the fumbles on them is super stupid. So they did say comp mode, they'll maybe make it intuitive only users, but during the beta, like a CPU would hit you and you'd fumble. It's terrible. They did say ball carrier can just give up, but sometimes it's like your hit, tackle battle, fumble. Right? It's like that. You don't even have the time to react because it's hit, tackle battle, fumble, right? That. And then like, it's just fumbles are so game changing in Madden because there's so few possessions that it's just an awful feeling for the offense. Abilities, right? Pass lead, hot rod master, gunslinger, they all need to be lower. There's a few other abilities, if I can spell correctly, are also off. But everything, it did get raised in price from last year on abilities. Desyncs, those were a problem, but like desyncs were a main problem during last year's beta, and they kind of had it fixed by the reg mode. Obviously, there's still some bullshit going on with freeze glitches, with that kind of stuff on old gen and stuff, so it's still terrible. Halftime adjustments are back, so that's cool. Let's hope they aren't broken again this year. I think a weird thing that they did was get rid of the light boxes. Some people love it. I just don't think, like, they've put no effort. Like, if they put effort into the run game, that'd be one thing. But they completely ignored it, right? They focused a lot on zones and that kind of stuff this year. That's what they put all the programming into. So the fact that they got rid of light boxes when they literally haven't changed a single thing about the run game, it's stupid, okay? Like, I, for one, am, like everybody's like, oh, Fox, you hate running. Why do you hate that light box they're gone? It's because there should be counters. I love a game that's counter-based, right? If they come out on I4 and I come out on dollar, I should not be able to stop them. I should not be able to shoot a gap. I should not be able to get in the backfield and tackle them for loss in that situation. There needs to be counterplay, or else the entire defensive match is just going to be dollar. Okay? I just hate. I love the fact that last year you could audible down to something that would take care of light box. I don't know. I'm worried that they did take it away. Quarterback releases feel kind of slow. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But like it was weird with the new system, how much slower. And maybe it's just because the pass rush got home so quick. Rushing 3 with like the user on a blitz. So you're basically rushing 4 according to the game coding is way too good. Rushing 3 double team splits should not be as good as it is. You should actually have to commit 4 guys outside of your user to rush in order to get good animations, right? The fact that rushing 3 gets home so fast is so bad for the game. I can't even tell you. It's so bad. Being able to drop 8 in coverage and get home within 3 to 4 seconds, it's not good. It's already a defensive game, so making it like that is going to be even worse. I did see something early on. Deep thirds outside deep thirds getting stuck to the middle. But they might have actually patched that. I didn't really notice it as much later in that. So that might have been something they actually touched in the patch. I will say one thing I found interesting with the patch is that spins and jukes were insanely fast, insanely good. Like they were like, it was gonna be a throw it short and then make a bunch of moves here and like go up for scores that way, right? Like that was gonna be the balancing factor on how good the defense is. But right now, spins and jukes almost unusable, right? They're not terrible. Like they're not like, a lineman trying to spin and you might make a guy miss, but overall, spins and jukes are about as bad as I've ever seen them in Madden. Now, maybe they'll force you. Maybe that's way better with the spin cycle jukebox abilities, and maybe that's what they're forcing you into. But it's crazy how useless just like base spins and jukes were during the beta. Hopefully, they can make them a little bit more powerful. Like kind of split the difference between where they were to start and where they ended in the beta, or else it's just terrible. We'll talk about playbooks later. I have something written down about them, but it's not really that important. Wheel routes were big again, as you guys, wait, did that happen? All right, wheel routes. Yeah, wheel routes from running back, tight end, or wide receiver would be good. Especially the wide wheel. I think we're going to see a lot of that wide wheel if we get cover 3 as a meta, especially with like guys like shuffling, or maybe people use purples, and then throw it quick and then get up the field that way. I think we might see like that from Gun Bunch come right back into the meta like right away, because wheels look to be, pretty good. Especially you don't get that inaccurate quick throw that you got a couple years ago. So you might see some wide receiver wheels. I think like the bunch in Washington is probably going to be meta right away. I think Washington playbooks look good. I was not going to talk about playbooks. I'll talk about more on playbooks maybe in another video when we get closer to Madden. And then lastly, low points are really bad. They're not even there with the new passing mechanic. You can't even low point it, right? Because the new pass mechanic's on the left bumper. You can still high point it. High point it's still there. Sorry, left trigger, whatever. High point is still there and really good. Did I talk about seams at all? Did I talk about seams? Seams are good too. Weird, I thought I had seams. Seams are good routes. Yeah, and then with that, like, I can see them not having a low point mechanic in the game with the new passing meter, because you can just like move it down and get like a low point sort of thing. I don't know. Overall, basically, the low points were taken out of the game, and like low points become really, really inaccurate with the new classic passing. So one thing though, like if I have a wide receiver on like a hook or a hitch or something, and I throw the ball, like they react like the defensive lineman in coverage. They react so slowly. So like I can see why they don't want them like long passes down the field, so you can't like instantly change direction, come back and get like a long like, you know, come back, like throw a streak and then throw it down and throw it behind them and then instantly react that way. But like if the wide receiver is looking at the quarterback and he releases it, the wide receiver should react as quick as a DB looking at the quarterback. It should absolutely be like that, right? The same thing. We should have a balancing that way. They're both professional pass catchers, so the DB should not react better, because they do. They react a lot better right now. Wide receivers look like idiots out there, so hopefully that's fixed and wide receivers react a little bit better, and that's what I got. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with seam routes being good. I just want to make that note. That's totally okay, right? They should be good. If people are like double covering the sidelines, that's how you counter them, is seams. So this definitely don't patch that. Don't patch these. All right, I can spell, sort of, not really. That's my feedback for the beta. Overall, it's the best beta I've ever played in Madden. It's not even close. I know, like, you guys probably want to hear more positivity, but I wanted to give out the things that are still issues. Overall, best thing. Maybe I'll go through the beta feedback forums for a video here coming up, but that's my feedback. Let me know what you guys thought, if I did good, what I'm wrong about. But overall, like, if they fix offensive linemen, if they only fix a few things, right? They do need to fix quite a bit, but if they only could get to a few things, O lineman should be number one, absolutely number one. Playbooks number two. Hell, maybe even reverse that. But anyways, they just fixed those two. 23 is a big W. And then they could kind of work it on going down. But that if I had their like whatever board, their we need to fix this board, those two things, without a doubt, are the biggest two things. Otherwise, that's it. Hopefully you guys like the video. Please like if you do. Use code GutFox at Underdog Fantasy, #1 way of supporting me. Thanks for watching. Call to action. I'll see you in the comments. Peace!